Adam, you take this one. Adam, seriously, you can say whatever you want. God damn it, Adam.
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
That's the old intro. Why are we back to the old intro? What the hell is going on here?
I tried to fix it, but I couldn't quite get it back to the glory that I had it at one point.
It was so great. We had fixed it, and we weren't wasted anymore. We were just wasting people's time, and now...
I'll get it right next time, Keith, I promise.
God damn it. Well, it's not that kind of wasted. It's more the Al Pacino wasting your time kind of wasted. And yeah, I mean, in short, instead of a useful, productive hour, it will be replaced with two ignorant, ill-informed, ill-advised, self-deprecating morons ranting about opinions that they have no right to have, which are probably wrong and absolutely do not matter. With that said, if for some god-awful reason you enjoy wasting the precious little time you have on this earth, like trying to intimidate North Korea. I mean, sure, usually the bigger, stronger guy wins in a fight, unless the little guy is completely out of touch with reality. Then reality doesn't matter and the crazy always wins.
That's yeah, I've got a couple ex-girlfriends that really applies to.
But they were also big. So search for another wasted hour on all social media sites and share, follow, mention, like, and review us. Also, please subscribe to Another Wasted Hour on iTunes, Google Play Music, or Stitcher and review us there too. Our goal is to convince you that where we hail from, just outside Washington, D.C., is not a city just of politics and scandals, but one brimming with art, music, and culture, as impossible as that may seem. So, listeners, now that you know why you're here, I'm Keith, and across from me is my co-host, Victor. Victor, why are you here this week?
Well, I was having dinner with my wife the other day, and I had a Freudian slip. I meant to say, honey, could you please pass the salt? I ended up saying, you bitch! You ruined my life!
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know a Freudian slip is when you say one thing, butthole.
Right. You take one word and you replace it with the wrong penis.
Exactly. That's It's exactly. Yeah, it was made famous by Freud and your mom. And so
right. So that's my story. Keith, why are you here?
I would like to take a moment out of our day to discuss
I don't wanna.
Something
I already don't want to.
That is oddly popular, and I'm not sure why. So I thought maybe you could give me some insight into it. It is a thing called the NFL draft. Have you heard of this?
No.
It's like...
Not at all.
Okay, remember World War I?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, and
right.
And then people had to fight in it because they got drafted. It's like that, okay. Except football. And not war, and people don't die. And so it's weird because everybody gets really amped up about it. So you're like looking at the list of people that are going to be in the draft and then like where your team is picking in the draft and trying to like predict who. But it's weird because all of these people are going to get drafted. So we know they're going to play football.
So wait, there's like no risk in it at all?
No.
Like all those NASCAR fans, they're waiting for a crash.
Right.
What do you wait for with the draft?
I don't, basically you're finding out where that guy is going to play football. It's not if they're in the first, 4 rounds, there's also 7 rounds that they go through. If you're in the first 4, you're pretty much just guaranteed. Like if you're slotted in there somewhere, you might slide down into a lower round, but you're going to play football next year, right? So there's no risk there. And if for some reason that guy didn't get to play football, just some other football player would play instead of him, there's no mystery. Like it's not like, oh, my team really needs a running back. Oh, I hope you get one in the draft. And then it's like, oh, we didn't. You don't have a running back.
Oh,
No, we just have another running back. We have a different running back than the running back that we wanted to pick. Now we have a guy with a different name that does the same job.
Say running back one more time.
Running back.
Thank you.
Here's the weird thing is they're all going to be millionaires. So it's just it's like watching which millionaire makes more money, right?
And they still always drop the ball.
Right, which is just a weird TV show to be like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. Which of these 50 millionaires is going to make more than the other 50 millionaires? and you're like, oh, I hope it's the one named Carl.
Right.
Like,
Like I watch football, and the skinny guy throws the ball
Yeah.
really far.
The
at
skinny
the bigger,
white guy,
the
usually.
bigger guy. Yeah.
yeah,
And
the one surrounded by bigger black guys.
well,
And a
the one
few-
trying to catch the ball drops the ball, and I'm like, you just got paid. If we take your salary per minute,
Yeah.
you got paid several $100 at least
Yeah.
to fuck up that play.
Right. Do you know what your job is? To catch a ball. That's
Right.
it. That's all you have to do
You
in
get
life.
paid an ungodly amount of money,
You run fast,
and you
catch
still
a ball.
suck at
And
your
you're like,
job.
oh, my fault. I dropped that one. Yeah, that's your fault because that's your job.
Wow.
So
you know what they should do? Just
Yeah.
put all the names in a computer, randomize it. That'd be a hell of a season.
it would be all
You
of
get
this.
a bunch of like people who played one position. You get like a front line of quarterbacks.
Yeah, you do it every year with every player. You throw all the players in a computer, right? And then you say, this year, these players will be on this particular team. And then, but they change every year. The entire thing would be way cooler that way. So, NFL aside, obviously we don't need to sit here and talk about the NFL because we have
Knuffleball! Sorry, I get excited.
football. We have two very important people here. They are attaches from the country of Tahiti, and no, they couldn't make it. Okay. We just have two musicians here in
I think
studio.
they did make it. We just didn't let them in. They seem sketchy.
Yeah, the skirts. It was the weird grass skirts that threw us off. So here to my left, we have Scott Thorn. Hello, Scott.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, welcome. And we have Dan Magnolia.
Hello.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
Magnolia being... I've noticed that both of you are parts of a garden.
Right.
You do know that, right?
We planned it that way.
You
Yes.
sound like garden, criminals. Like if it was like, who stole the topiary? Well, it was Scott Thorne and Dan Magnolia.
Oh no!
I know another guy
Not
that's
the
also
garden
named
gang.
Michael Rose, and we figure we'd throw him in there too. Why not?
Right. You could just be like a topiary bandit group.
Garden Rose Magnolia
Right.
Thorn. Yeah.
Yes. And so you guys obviously are here for the same reason. But what is that reason? Why are you guys here this week?
Well, we're here to talk about our show coming up on May the 9th at the Velvet Lounge in D.C.
Which is a great little venue if nobody's been up there. Are you playing upstairs in that area?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we are. We're looking forward to it. We're going to actually be the first act going on that evening.
Okay.
There's a touring band out of New York called Radiator King, and a local D.C. boy named Eli Lev who's going to be finishing up the night.
I
But
believe I've heard of Eli. But and what's the name of your band?
it's Scott Thorn and Freedom Road.
Freedom Road, which I think was one of the songs you sent over,
It is.
wasn't it?
It is.
You named your band after a song. That is
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, it actually it took Dan and I don't know, probably 2 weeks to figure it out. But
Either that
we
or you
did.
went the other direction. You were like, we've named the band Freedom Road. We should probably make a song about that. We actually do have a song from you called Ordinary Day that we're going to be playing a little later. If anybody wants to listen to that, you can fast forward to the 1 hour mark of this show and listen to the entire track. We'll hear a sample of that a little later in the show. What is the sound? If you were to tell people to go to a record store and check you out, what aisle would you be down? What artist would you be around?
Reggae.
Reggae? I assumed from the track that I heard, it sounded very... That's why I made the Tahiti reference. It's because of all the reggae in Tahiti.
Right. Makes perfect sense.
But we don't like the label, Dan.
Yes. Tahitian reggae. That's very rare. So who are the artists that you're related to? I like to think in terms of like a family tree. Parents are always hard, I think. But who would the grandparents of your band be?
Yeah, so influences and the like. So I wouldn't say I fit neatly in a specific genre.
Sure,
I kind
of
of
course
spread
not.
between, little rock, little roots rock,
Great.
Americana, and a little bit into the countryside as well. When people pull it down, I've had comparisons to John Mellencamp, Bryan Adams, some of those older artists.
So kind of good, solid, honest music, like singer-songwriter plus. Right?
Yeah,
with,
absolutely.
With the added kind of wall of sound behind that.
Of course.
And then I definitely hear some of those kind of alternative instruments as well. Like I heard it sounded like maybe slide guitar and things like that make a presence known.
No, good ear. There's definitely some slide guitar in there. A buddy of mine, Richard Lavoni, helped me out on the tracks, and he's a rockin' dude from the 70s and 80s on the LA scene. Playing opposite bands like Van Halen. So He's got some serious licks on this
very
album.
cool.
But he didn't have a plant name, so you couldn't include him.
All right. What's your last name? Smith. Okay, we're gonna have to change
Yeah,
that
you outta
to
here.
Ficus. Ficus.
Ashnut tree. That's you.
Here's Dogwood. And I think what was really nice about it is, although it had some of those alternative kind of feels that you'd usually get from country or some of that roots rock, it didn't feel overpowering here. Like, it didn't feel like it necessarily defined the music. It was more of a touch that was an homage to that rather than the lead instrument that defined what the song was. So it's kind of more approachable, I think, than sometimes, like your real pure country or bluegrass or things that are very alternative sound. They're still anchored in kind of that pop rock sensibility to it.
Hang on, I was writing that down.
Okay, excellent.
Because that was really cool.
We are on a radio program. You could just listen to it later.
That's true. Yeah, you could.
Oh,
we're recording this.
No, this is live.
This is
this
live.
happens once.
Live.
If you miss
We're
it,
doing it live.
shut up, Adam.
You're geared up to say something, and I don't want to hear it.
Do you want to see? Want
Shut
to
your
see?
mouth. Shut it.
Just
Kick the chair out from under me. That teaches him a lesson.
So what we're going to do is we'll come back and talk to you a little bit more about the song that you have and a little about the album that it's on. But we want to bring you into the zany world that is our minds with a little...
I'm scared. But, okay.
You should be extremely scared. This is a little bit we like to call the weather report.
So we're going to throw some headlines at you and briefly describe some things that were in the news this week. You should decide whether or not they should have been on the internet at the very least. So, by
whether or not,
importance,
yeah.
by how makes you feel, if it starts with the letter M, whatever your criteria you want to make, it's fine.
The thing is whether or not they should be news. Should it be newsworthy?
I'm ready.
Yeah, you ready? All right.
All right, we're
Challenge
opening
accepted.
with a real Sharknado.
What?
A cyclone dumps a bull shark in a muddy puddle in Australia. As it whirled through the cyclone, it swallowed 3 people whole. I made that last part up, but all 3 movies are quality and you should see them. Sharks in space, let me tell you, that's what's next. But yeah, for real, a cyclone pulled this guy out of the water and threw him inland a couple miles.
Can you just imagine how blown that shark's mind was?
Is that a pun?
I'm just saying it's
I'm not happy, Keith.
I understand. It spent its entire life underwater, right? So it's not even like near air. And then one day he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna eat some things and gonna," and then it flies.
That's a bird?
And it's like spinning is like, "Oh, I hate this area. This is such a horrible ride." Like it's his entire concept of what the world was just shifted in that moment. And then I assume he ended up in a puddle and died, right? Is he dead?
Yeah, he did.
I mean,
he's super dead.
he
ate 3 people. He was just gorged. Nobody could survive that.
He died from eating people.
Right. But it concludes with, if the sharks truly are coming onto land, where are we safe? And that's the end of the article.
Space.
It made me
You're
so
right.
happy. No, Sharknado 3 proves that sharks can be in space.
Yeah.
Apparently they don't depressurize because reasons.
Science.
We can't talk about
So
it
what do
right
you
now.
guys think? News? Not news?
I don't know. A bull shark in a mud puddle? No.
Oh, come on.
He
No.
makes a valid point.
It's only news if Ian Zierling is involved. Ian Zierling? How do you say that guy's name? Ian
Oh,
Zierling
yeah.
from 90210? He's in
90210.
Sharknado.
Is he in it?
Is he in it?
Yeah, he's the guy with the chainsaw.
No, I mean, is he in the news story?
Yeah, he's in it. He cuts the shark in half as it flies
in
through
it.
the
You
air.
didn't say that until just now.
No,
I
Ian.
missed that detail.
No Ian, no news.
You guys
no
are killing
news.
me. Sharknado for real.
All right. I think this one is probably going to be news for you guys. It's something that affects the entire world.
The world.
So you guys might not know about this, but the Loch Ness Monster is missing.
Nessie.
Yes. There have been no sightings of the Loch Ness Monster for 8 months. Now, I know what you're going to say, and that is
Spring break.
it's always been missing because nobody can find Nessie. But I'm just saying we don't have any new pictures or anything. Nessie usually appears during the summertime, although it is not unheard of for her to be around in the winter months. last year was one of the highest sightings of Nessie since 2000. The year 2000, 2016 was the next highest, which is 8. We had 8 sightings.
So on average,
year.
it's about the same. We're fine.
Yeah, maybe. The last recorded sighting was on August 21st of last year. So we should probably send out a search party, except that we've already sent out search parties and not found Nessie. So I'm not sure what to do at this point. Although apparently in September, a whiskey warehouse worker snapped what appeared to be one of the most convincing images of Nessie. Granted, friends of Ian Bremner believe that the 58-year-old took a photo of 3 seals in the loch. So most convincing is maybe taken with a grain of salt there if his own friends are like, nope, that's those are seals.
So your headline is, thing that isn't real is missing.
We don't know that it's not real, but thing we can't find is missing.
No, but see, I have to minimize this as much as possible. 'cause
Right.
I didn't win a news last time.
The thing we cannot find consistently is right now not being found consistently. And I need you guys to get on board with this, because what do we have left? Bigfoot?
Wait, are we talking about climate change? What are we talking about?
Probably. It's probably due to climate change.
Missing one
No,
Loch
I
Ness
thought we were
monster.
saying like climate change is not real and we can't find that either.
I'm just saying that August 21st last year was when they were seen last. Since then, Trump took office and now no Nessie. I know that he doesn't like foreigners, so just something to think about. Is it news is the question.
I have to have one clarification first.
Yes, absolutely. I have all the information.
Is the source a National Enquirer source?
No.
Because that is the paper.
No, it is from Scotsman.com.
If it's in the paper,
Yeah.
then for real. You
Well,
can't have
And
no choice.
apparently it was reported by the gentleman who maintains the Loch Ness Monster registry. So he
would know.
Yeah, he would know if it's there or not. And
Is
I
that
will.
that guy's only job?
Yeah,
So
probably.
there's a Loch Ness Monster registry.
Yes.
Is there a travel ban too?
Well, I figure what the registry is just like what gifts the Loch Ness Monster wants.
Oh, that registry. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
Like
Gravy
gross.
boat.
Something nice.
When
yeah.
she gets married, whatever,
Bring me a shark. And I will mention that I did notice that the particular news article did misspell the word sighting once, just once.
credibility there.
But
For real.
it's hard to get all of the things spelled correctly.
Well,
so
yeah, grammar's hard.
it is
Spelling
It's super hard, especially for the Scots.
and stuff.
Have you
So
heard them talk?
I'm going to go out on a limb because
You're going down the gauge just like John Benzine.
I don't know a thing you said just then.
That was terrible.
I spelled it right.
I think he said if it's not Scottish, it's crap. I'm going to go out on a limb because that was pretty detailed information.
Yeah.
Misspelling aside.
Yeah.
But I think, Nessie is an important part of, the world.
It's culture.
And I'm going to go with this is news.
This show is stupid and sorry, yo.
Yes. Dan, do you agree?
I don't disagree.
All right, that's good. I'll call it news.
Idiotas no saben lo que es nada. So, next up, I'm just going to open this one with saying, I can eat an unhuman amount of wings. I can binge eat like a champion.
Like 7.
Not news.
I still have nothing. Great white shark binge eats for 18 hours on a whale carcass.
It
They
would have
say
been way more impressive if it was at a buffalo wing factory.
on a whale carcass
After the
at a buffalo
Sharknado.
wing factory. But
Bring me more sauce.
this is remarkable
Some
because
napkins.
And blue cheese, please.
from being that full, they had to catch the shark to see if she was pregnant. Turns out she was just fucking eating a lot. And she
was
let
sad.
herself be caught because she had eaten so much.
Right.
She was like a cat on catnip. So we caught a stoned shark that we thought was pregnant. It
Right.
was just really fat.
Right.
It's like, hey guy, can you move your car? No. Oh, you're not. You're just a fat guy. My bad. You're
I
not
like that
pregnant.
they were
You're
like,
just fat.
Are you pregnant? No. And the shark said, I just feel fat, so I ate everything.
Shark with the itis.
Yes.
What, was it a female shark?
It was a lady shark.
I don't think you can call them fat.
That's true. That is a big
That's
bone
why you
shark.
never ask a lady shark if they're pregnant.
Right.
She was very large in her girth.
That was a big cartilage shark
Not all sharks.
because they don't have bones. And so
18 hours. That's insane.
I
Who
did that.
sat there and watched that shark eat for 18 hours?
Right, that's the weird thing is the guy on the boat that's like, this is awesome.
Just set up like a rotating camera on the whale, just floating. It's just beep, 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 beep. So what do you guys think? News? Not news?
Not news.
Not.
This is the second shark news article that we've gotten.
Yeah, I definitely
You
picked
want
a
a
theme
shark?
here.
You just went to one website, just sharknews.com.
HuffPost was going to change their name. It was just Shark Post.
Actually, I'm making this all up. I was just watching Shark Week on TV.
I was going to say you lost me when you said shark the second time. I was
Say shark one more time. Say running back.
say shark again. Say shark again.
Fine.
All right. I think I've got one for you, gentlemen. This is important because it deals with public health. I need everybody to listen carefully. McCain Foods in the United States has voluntarily recalled frozen hash browns sold under the Harris Teeter and Rowdy Browns because they may be, and I quote, contaminated with extraneous golf ball materials that, despite our stringent supply standards, may have inadvertently harvested with potatoes.
Let me be the first to say, what?
I don't know how that scene went down. There was a guy that was like, hash browns look good. I'm going to take a break and just do some putt-putt near the grinder. Like,
No, put that pitching wedge down. That's a bad idea.
I need distance.
Oh, that shouldn't have gone in there.
It's a par 4. I don't know what you want me to do. So when I dig into it, here's my thinking, right, is that the way they phrase it, which is despite our stringent supply standards, may have inadvertently harvested with potatoes, which means somewhere in the world there is a potato field right next to a golf course, which is fascinating.
But
right?
this is the first time that's happened.
Right. They just apparently this was the one season where golfers got really bad and all sliced all right into the.
Or they just started caring now. I eat a lot of hash brown. I love hash browns.
Yeah.
How many golf balls have I ingested in my life?
I don't know. If you start getting dimples, I think that's when you know you've had too much.
Everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. They're speed holes. So, gentlemen, I would like to again just reiterate, this is a public safety announcement. Is it news or not news?
I have to go with the public recall, and because it's a health concern, Idaho golf, driving ranges aside,
Yeah.
yes, it is news.
I understand the criteria
Yeah.
now. Yes. Yeah.
Dan, anything to add to that?
Not a shark. That's the criteria.
No. Whatever I say.
Not a shark. No, I would agree. But the key thing about all recalls is if you've watched Fight Club, is like it depends on how many thousands of people
Right.
have had to have eaten golf balls before this became enough for them to manage their insurance premiums and say, all right, we finally have to recall it. They don't do it voluntarily the
Right.
first
It's like
time.
A plus B times C equals X.
Yeah.
And if X equals more than the cost of the recall, they don't do well.
You've
Yeah.
watched this movie a lot.
I have an audiographic memory. I watch it once and it's saved.
I'd like to imagine that there are just Amazon reviews that are like, I love hash browns. These are a bit chewy. And they were like, we got to look into this. They shouldn't be chewy. It's not what potatoes do.
What's this very long green strip? So
These
what was that?
Titleist potatoes are not as good as normal Idaho potatoes.
So we had a what was it? The United flight that kicked off the one passenger.
Right. No, that was. Oh, yeah. The United people, they actually dragged an unconscious man from his seat that he bought. Yeah.
Right.
That guy.
Because they sold it twice or something.
Reaccommodated.
Reaccommodated him.
Right. Conveniently
Right.
reaccommodated. He didn't even notice.
Yeah.
So
That sounds like what they said when they brought people to the the Holocaust centers.
reaccommodated.
Yeah.
Your showers have been adjusted. You're
Yeah.
fine.
You're welcome.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon. So on British Airlines, what they do in San Francisco, instead of kicking the guy off, when you find a mouse on the plane, you kick everyone off. The flight had to deplane because somebody saw a mouse. You know how fucking hard mice are to see? They're just, it's a lightning bolt. So somebody saw like a white, gray, or whatever flash, and they're
Yeah.
like, mouse, everybody off.
Right.
I'm tired of these motherfucking mice
I would like
on this motherfucking plane.
right. I would like to point out that in the last 8 months, we have seen more mice on planes than Nessie. I'm just saying. That's how long it's been. I don't even know how did the mouse get on?
Right? Does it have a visa? I mean,
Boarding pass?
Yeah.
Clearly.
How thank God they just boarded everyone, because here's the thing, right? If they had taken off and like they left like New York and then they got to LA and everybody got off and the mouse got off, he'd be like, what the fuck just happened? I was in a room for like 4.5 hours and now I don't know anyone.
I was just chewing through this luggage. And...
Right.
No, the biggest danger would be if you have somebody like my mother on the plane,
Yeah.
and somebody says the word mouse.
Yeah.
Be like, all right, tray tables in upright and locked position. Please put on your seat. Ma'am, why are you standing on the seat? Why are you screaming? Why are you now climbing up the roof? You do not fit in the luggage compartment.
Right.
Please stop screaming. My mom is likely to literally catch fire before, like, just from sheer terror.
Well, let me ask you a question, gentlemen. Oh, did you get is it news or
Judgment.
not news?
News, not
Yeah.
news.
Well, I'm going back to the public health concern, and so we're on a theme.
Yeah.
And I think that, vermin
Yeah.
and rodents carry, things that are harmful potentially to humans. So if you put everybody in a, metal container and
No,
suspend
I think
it
that
in the
they
middle
have
of
to
the
go
earth.
through a metal detector. They won't have anything harmful.
Yeah, they don't have a gun.
I'm talking disease, like rat brain disease or something like that.
Ricin.
So I would say yes, that is news.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, coming back.
Booyah.
Dan,
So
any
much for your
disagreement?
shutout.
Nope. I'm going to have to agree with that one, because if you let just one mouse on that plane, ISIS are going to use mice to.
It's a slippery slope.
It is a slippery slope.
It's a tiny
One mouse
bomb.
now, mice everywhere.
Yeah.
Next time.
All right, so I've got for you. I don't know if the jeans that you're wearing, Dan, are new or not, but you may want to consider returning them and getting these new jeans from Nordstrom's. They are labeled Barracuda straight leg jeans. They're described on Nordstrom's site as Americana workwear that has seen some hard-working action with cracked, caked-on, muddy coating that shows you're not afraid to get down and dirty. It is pre-dirtied jeans that cost $425. You know what the best part of these are? You know what? You saw this as well. Tell me what the best part of this story
the
is.
best part, it's not real dirt.
Right.
But anyway, pants don't get dirty.
Right.
That's just the thing, right? You wear a shirt, you toss it in the laundry. The next day, you put on the same pair of pants with a different shirt.
Yeah.
Pants don't get dirty. This is a lie.
Yeah,
It's a $475 lie.
Yeah. Until they're dirty enough that you can tip them over. You do not need to wash
When your pants stand up on their own, then you know it's time for the next pair.
Honestly, what the best part of this is there are instructions that come with the pants that say if you wash them in cold water and line dry them, they stay dirty. So you have to wash them a specific way to keep them dirty, which is really fascinating.
So if you want to look like you work hard, but not do anything at all.
Yeah. In related news,
And you have $500.
if in related news, if you would like some dirty jeans, I can get you some for $200. It's not that hard.
Free shipping.
Put your pants back on.
Exactly. Well, I wanted to be prepared just in case somebody called in. We don't have a phone. So the question is it news or not news?
Dan.
Dan's on the line.
I actually heard that on the way in.
Yeah?
I would say that it is news only because it identifies people who buy this. You can put them on a registry of douchebags who buy unnecessary items of clothing that are clearly overpriced, that have no business being in existence in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pack those pants with ISIS mice.
Yes.
And we'll thin the herd a little bit.
Well, we have gone way over time-wise. I was going to tell you guys about why Gwyneth Paltrow is trying to kill us, but we do not have time, so hopefully we'll reach that next week.
You're not going to get to that. You've been talking about that for like 3
It's
weeks.
very important, so stick with us next week, because I do not want Gwyneth Paltrow to kill you, okay? But instead of talking about that very important piece of information that may end up in your death, what we'd like to do is talk more with Scott Thorne.
Sounds reasonable.
That's cool, but I did see a blonde-haired woman out there earlier. Should I be concerned?
No, not at all. But the show
nice.
That was
will be
probably
over
me. I got
soon.
a lot of hair.
Yeah, that's true. So we have a song from you called Ordinary Day. Can you set this up for us? We're going to do a little sample here. Obviously, if people want to hear the whole song, we already said fast forward to the 1 hour mark of the show, and we can and you can listen to the whole track there. But what is this about? What inspired you to write Ordinary Day?
This song is really it's a fun song, and it's really kind of a reminiscent song looking back on earlier days. So I grew up in the Central Florida and Panhandle area, so along the coastline of Gulf of Mexico, and early days, finishing high school, early college, those kind of years. You got in your car, you put the top down, you turned the music up loud, you went cruising, you hung out with your friends, you went to the lake. It's kind of those reminiscences and experiences thrown into a kind of a peppy, upbeat, up-tempo song.
Oh, that's great. All right, well, let's take a little listen to it so you can get a sample of what Scott Thorn and the rest of Freedom Road sound like. This is a song called Ordinary Day. I have to admit, I definitely hear where we got some John Mellencamp going on here. Like, that was a really good call, I think. Cool. Are you familiar with John Cougar Mellencamp?
I'm actually hearing more of a little bit Bryan Adams in there.
Oh, I can hear that too.
Yep,
Yeah. So, now you have a whole album out, right?
Yes.
You sent us several songs.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the album. Where did you record that?
So that is the title track. So it's called Ordinary Day. I recorded it in a small recording studio in San Diego, California.
Really?
Called Blitz Recording.
Oh, okay.
So I was living out there, and had put these songs together again with my buddy Richard Lavoni, and it took about 1.5 years to put the whole thing together.
It takes a lot longer than you'd expect.
Yes,
like people think like, I'm going to make an album. It'll take like 2 months. I'll throw
Keith's
some things
talking
together.
as if he has experience.
Yes, just a handful of them, like literally 5 or 6. And so you said you're out in California. How long have you been in this area? Because now you're from the Washington D.C. area. That's where you guys are playing.
So day job has moved me around. So I was living out there, and I moved back last summer. And that's right. I released it just before coming back to D.C. living in Arlington right now. So it's been out since that time. But as an independent guy, it's hard to get the word out. It's hard to get people to know. But it's got a little bit of airtime.
Yeah.
And playing around.
Now it does.
Yeah.
The importance that is another wasted hour.
Well, the wasted hour bump is what we're hoping for.
Well, we're glad to have
You'll
you
get
on.
at least 2.
Yeah, exactly.
2 follows.
And so again, you guys are playing a show on May 9th. At the Velvet Lounge down in Washington, D.C. It's your band, Scott Thorn and Freedom Road. And who else is playing with you again?
So the other bands are Radiator King out of Brooklyn, New York, which is kind of a cool mix of folk and punk. So you can put those two together. And then Eli...
We put folk and metal together. we can nail this.
Yeah.
And Eli Lev, who's a local D.C. guy, folk rock, great guy to boot.
Oh, excellent. And I assume you'll be playing Ordinary Day during that concert?
We're going to open with that song.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
All right. And if anybody wants to hear the entire track, again, fast forward to the 1 hour mark of this show, and you can listen to that title track, Ordinary Day. Again, May 9th at Velvet Lounge in Washington, D.C. We're going to move forward now, hopefully in a fast pace, because we're running a little behind. So we're going to do a thing called This Week in History. We are going to go through things that happened this week in history. And you guys at the end are going to tell us what the most historically important thing was. This is very important for you guys, but feel free to use whatever criteria you feel. So I believe I am starting. That means I would have to be prepared with my sheet in front of me.
Oh, yeah.
The year, imagine this, is 1184 BC. Way long ago. It is the Trojan War. The Greeks enter Troy hidden inside a giant wooden horse. We then have used that particular concept over and over again. I assume before that nobody had ever hidden. I don't know, because
Right.
I know that Troy was like, "What the fuck? There are people in there!" Like, oh, how did we not see that coming?
I want to know what their most popular brand of condoms was.
Yeah, I don't know. It was probably like I would think like sheep intestine would be my guess.
You know what could have prevented this whole disaster? Trojan man.
Right. Sheep intestine by Menon. And I assume before that, all wars were just like them knocking on, hello, we would like to kill you now.
Well, that was the thing. They brought like 40,000 Greeks
Yeah.
riding a shit ton of boats.
Uh-huh.
All the supplies they needed
Yeah.
to survive living on the beach long enough to take the city, and they didn't bring any tools to take the city.
They're like, all we've got is this giant horse.
We need one siege weapon. Just one. We protect it really well. We got this.
Yes. So there we go. How about instead of that, in 1792, quite a bit forward. Yeah, exactly. The first execution by guillotine, which then became a household favorite for all types of things. Beheadings,
Watermelons.
cutting cigars. I don't know. What else do you do with them? The French execute convicted criminal Nicolas Jacques Pellier.
So he was super dead.
Probably not sure how you say it, but
I think it's Horace Duvers.
yes, Nicolas Jacques Nontet. That was his name. That's a French joke. You'll get it later. And so,
Mon petit
it means-
champignon.
exactly. How about you? What do you have?
In 1865, on this date, John Wilkes Booth was killed. He's killed when Union soldiers track him down to a Virginia farm 12 days after he assassinated the president.
He was like in the woods, wasn't he? Like
He was,
out back?
he was hiding out in a barn.
Yeah.
Or they chased him and he hid in a barn.
And hit a bar. Yeah, I think so.
But the original plan was actually to kidnap the president. And then the worst thing happened. They lost the war. So he's like, well, I'm bitter.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be a little bitch and kill the guy. And then nobody with 3 names who killed a guy ever lives very long.
No,
So
it never goes well for
Yeah.
them.
they shot him a lot.
Yeah.
And then he ran with bullets in him.
Yeah.
And then he died.
Did
and
they
then they
shoot
found
him a lot? No, I thought he jumped from the balcony onto the stage and broke his leg. I thought was the thing.
That's not what killed him, though. He survived 12 days after the assassination.
Oh, right.
They
okay.
cornered him in
And
that
then-
barn. He bled to death.
Then shot him a lot. And made him civ-like.
dead.
And so lesson learned: if you are going to murder someone important like a president, change your name.
Yep.
And so I have let's see, 1901 license plates. That's it. That's all I have. No, New York becomes the first U.S. state to require automobile license plates. So before that, just automobiles everywhere and not a single vanity plate. It was like the most beautiful time on earth.
What did anybody do in prison?
I know. I assume that they just made plaques. Instead of license plate, there were just plaques that said, I have 3 kids. Like, and there was no limit to the letters.
Not guilty.
Right. It was just, this is my car. My other car is a horse.
You try to put a license plate on that, but that's not how horses work.
They started putting license plates on horse and it went really badly. Many
So,
dead horses.
I got one here in 1913.
Yeah.
A 13-year-old girl named Mary Fagan
Oh,
was
Mary.
murdered in a pencil factory.
Wait, what?
And there were 2 small little like handwritten notes left nearby where her body was left to
In
frame
pencil?
in pencil.
It'd be weird if it was in pen.
Number 2.
Crayon.
To frame, I think it was the janitor or the night watchman. It was to frame the night watchman.
Okay.
And people are like, that is clearly Bob's handwriting. the janitor, who, sadly enough, to fuel stereotypes, very large black guy, alcoholic,
Yeah.
didn't do his cover up very well. And you know what he did to get out of trouble?
What?
He blamed the Jews. He literally found, let's see.
Oh, God.
Tom Watson, Jewish chud, just poor victim of circumstance. He blamed that guy, and due to like some sort of pathetic evidence, it all went to trial and caused like it erupted in this massive street riots. So like, the police shoot somebody these days, and something's gonna happen. People are gonna be unhappy.
Right.
So you blame the Jews, and then you try to defend the Jews. The Jews get mad, and then they get persecuted because that's
what happens.
Everything that ever happens in history. So girl dies, black drunk blames Jews.
Right.
The world hates Jews.
What he should have said when they said, who killed that woman? He should have said, it was Sam Cooper and the Sleepwalkers.
Right.
They would have believed
Thorn.
that. Yes.
Oh, man.
It was the Topiary gang.
Should have brought that shrubbery we asked for.
I know. That's why we had to stab. Was she killed with the pencils? That's the thing I need to know.
She was raped and murdered, so I didn't really go into detail.
I guess you could do that with pencils. Right? I'm just saying, we don't have details.
Dude, that happened in 1913. That's way too soon to be cracking jokes.
Just saying, it could have been a lot of little stabs.
Yeah.
All right. So in 1980, way back in 1980, which nobody remembers, and there's barely written record, the Pennsylvania lottery comes up 666. An attempt to cheat the system, the balls have been weighted by the lottery host to increase the probability that
it wasn't even
sixes,
probability? That sucks.
Yeah, that 4s and 6s would be selected. The film Lucky Numbers in 2000, starring John Travolta and Lisa Kudrow, was loosely based on this event. So yeah, because of rigged things, the number of the beast arrived in the lottery.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
That number actually comes from before the whole biblical thing. Before they could, there was free speech and free writing and whatnot. If you wanted to bash a politician or somebody in power without getting ancient times guillotined,
Sure.
you wrote their names out in numerical form.
Oh.
So 666, I think, with the Greek nonsense or Roman whatever,
Sure.
is Nero. And that guy was a total dick.
Yeah. Okay. That's very interesting. I didn't know that.
Now you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yay. Another thing that a lot of people don't know is that 668 is the neighbor of the beast. That's lesser known fact.
Don't get lost. 665 is across the street.
How bad would it be if you had to like come over and be like, I'm really sorry, Satan. I got your mail again, and I just obviously they misread it. All right, so I also have one of the most horrifying. I think this one wins for the record. Most horrifying moments in history. It happened in 1985. I'm just gonna leave it at these two words: New Coke. Yeah.
Yay!
That's when Coca-Cola announced it's changing its 99-year-old formula and introducing what became known as New Coke less than 3 months later due to public outcry and poor sales. They brought back the old formula under the name Coca-Cola Classic. Something became a classic in 3 months. That's the best part. And so, how about you? You got anything?
It's not really an important event.
Okay, we can skip over it then.
Well, in 1986, the nuclear explosion at Chernobyl happened on April 26th.
Was it a nuclear explosion? It wasn't.
No, it wasn't a nuclear explosion. It was a nuclear explosion.
Nuclear.
Nuclear. Let's see. The Soviet Union built a Chernobyl plant, which has 4,000 megawatt reactors in the town of unpronounceable. At the time of the explosion, it was one of the oldest nuclear power plants. So basically, they were trying to run 20th century technology with 19th century shit.
They were like, that's fine. Just use that corkscrew. It'll be all right.
So what happened was they were running some tests.
Yeah.
And they decided to turn off the emergency response system to anything that might be going bad. Be like, those are alarms. They're telling us we're doing something bad.
They're so loud.
Just ignore them. It's part of the test.
Can you just turn that off?
Right. So, yeah, the reactor melted down, eventually heated to the point where it exploded, launching a fireball like 1,000 feet in the air, sustained.
Yeah.
So it just kept going for days. People around the area are getting like, radioactive rain and shit. And the Soviet Union's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing's wrong.
It's fine.
A couple days later, they're like, okay, there was a problem, and 3 people have gotten
mildly hurt. They have
some burns,
they have bruises.
And 70,000 people are poisoned by. Anyway, so no big deal.
So we had a fireworks display, and
very hot.
The interesting thing about that story is there were like 4 or 5 Russian guys that essentially they went to this group of people and said, okay, so here's the thing. We need to like open up a valve in order for the world not to end. Whoever goes to do it is going to die. And they were like, I'm in. And like, we basically owe the fact that it didn't just absolutely melt down and destroy the environment to like 4 guys who dove into like radioactive water to like open a valve, and they all died within like hours or days after that happened.
Yeah.
I think
And they
you're
knew it was
confusing
gonna-
that with the end of Lost.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay. There was also numbers in Chernobyl that you had to put in every few hours. Is that the same one?
I never watched Lost, but
You feel lost?
yeah, I heard at the end of every episode you had 42 new questions and they only answered 3.
Yes.
And then at the end they had so many questions that they were just like, I don't know, it was all a dream.
I like started watching it, and then I got through like a season or something and went, this is the most aptly named show I've ever seen, because I do not know what's going on right now.
I'm going home.
Right. I'm like, I don't know why why is there a polar bear? What is happening?
What?
I feel like I'm fucking tripping and I am just watching TV. So the question is, gentlemen, you have just gone through essentially the lightning round of history.
3,000 years right there.
What is the most important, historically important thing that occurred?
Okay, so before I answer, I just want to clarify.
Yes.
It's something that has happened in history, i.e. something that is not now or in the future.
Good.
So
You're smarter than
what
we are.
what I would like to point out is that you actually missed the most important thing in history this day,
Okay.
because the giant bunny died today.
Oh,
Giant bunny.
The giant bunny, the continental giant bunny, died on a airline flight today.
Is that like
what?
Is it continental because it wasn't? Was it an international flight? What
It's
is?
continental because it was big.
And
like a
because-
continent.
I'm gonna goggle this right now. I need to find out what
It
this.
seems like that bunny should have gone on Continental. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying
It
you
was
missed
a namesake.
you missed the big bunny. That's all I'm pointing out.
I'm googling it.
Yeah, please. What is a continental giant? It can't be that big.
It's the second thing on Google. You type in continental. Holy shit!
What?
These things are massive.
How do they make massive?
Oh my
bunnies?
god! I don't know, but this is like that is the size of a small horse.
What? How do they make horse-sized
It's seriously,
bunnies?
they're like Great Dane sized bunnies.
That's how does it hop?
What the hell? I think they just lay on you.
It's like a Prius.
Oh, you would get so much
Sweet
luck for that
Jesus.
leg.
Oh my god!
I'm just
Sled
saying.
dogs are obsolete. Let me tell you,
So
they're massive.
so a bunny died. I mean, I'm not going to discount how important that might be, but there was also new Coke. I'm just pointing out. I don't want to like.
Was it dragged off the plane unconscious?
Yes, yeah. It was. People tried to beat the crap out of new Coke. I guess technically that is the second thing that they've dragged off a plane that was not awake. Right? United. It was the man and then the bunny. Now
And there
there's
was
a trend,
and there was a woman the whole time going, "What are you doing?"
and we're like, dinner.
Isn't that always the case though?
This is gonna make so much stew.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Cooking.
I'm making a coat. You can make a coat out of one bunny.
Yeah,
That is
they're
amazing.
huge, dude. They're huge.
That's insane. All right, so you're going with bunny. Dan, do you have a?
Is that your final answer? Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yes.
So I was gonna say
Man.
new Coke, almost definitely.
Yeah.
Except I'm gonna have to go with Chernobyl because
Suck it!
a number of times I have been cooking in my house,
Yeah.
and the alarm goes off. I just pop that thing right off. I was like, I ignore that.
Right.
It's basically the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You just
Right.
pop the fire alarm and you keep cooking. It's fine.
The fate of thousands
Yeah.
depends on your stove.
Exactly. It's fine.
I would like to point out that it's probably no coincidence that 1 year after Coke came out, Chernobyl blew up. It's awfully close. It might have been the cause.
Whatever.
Somebody was like, "Oh, we're doing tests. I'm gonna have this Coke. This is terrible," and then spilled it on the controls, and the controls were like, "Open all the valves!" And then it was like, "Boom!" And they were
Like
like,
Homer
this
Simpson
button's-
is Russian.
"Yeah,
This one's burned out.
yeah,
Full
exactly."
Coke. No, I like to think it's like a Coke commercial. Guy sitting back, relaxing so much, enjoying this Coke that the alarms are blaring. He's like, it's cool.
All right, so what we got in the end was Chernobyl bunny is the most important thing that has happened in history.
That's how they get so big.
Yeah.
That's how they get so big.
I cannot argue with that.
They say he's got to go continental bunny.
Boom. And so all right, so back to the very important thing, which is as with the time that we have left, we'd like to get to know you guys just a little bit better now that you've come to our basement studio and we haven't murdered you. It's, I guess, time to
Adam, wipe that grin off your face.
Is that a knife?
Wipe it off your
Put the
goddamn
knife
face.
down.
Parentheses yet.
Yes. So since Gwyneth Paltrow didn't get you outside, what we're going to do is play a little game we like to call the 5 senses. If you've listened to the show before, you'll have an idea of how this works. Essentially, there's research that shows that our most precious memories or most vivid memories, are all attached to senses that we experience them through. So, of course, we have 5 of those, unless you happen to also be a Reiki master or something. And
gypsy.
Or a gypsy, which...
Or Hispanic woman.
Yeah, all those have magic powers. And so what we'd like to do is find out if there is a memory attached to each of your 5 senses that hopefully has something to do with music or the band or touring, rehearsing, going in studio, all those things. So we'll start off with the most dominant of all of your senses, the sense of sight. Do you guys have a memory that was particularly awesome or horrible attached to the sense of sight?
I have no sight, but I can see.
That's you're short-sighted.
I'm looking at Dan because I got nothing.
No,
We're bordering on puns here, so watch yourselves. Watch yourselves.
I was in San Francisco. I was at the Purple Onion. I don't know if you remember the Purple Onion. I don't think it's in business anymore, but I was there. And in terms of sight, if you've ever gone to the bathroom at the Purple Onion, it's basically a toilet in a hallway with no door. What? So suddenly I did not really have to go that badly because you could literally just lean over and see whoever was on the stage from the throne.
That's just convenient.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there you go.
I got a tip for you. I'm holding it.
Nah, man, I can poop in front of people, but wiping is a private matter.
There was no door.
Right. So you don't use a hose? That's weird. I imagined you a hose guy. And so
and now it's weird.
It's weird that they were like building it and they were like, and we'll just put a wall here, and somebody went, nah, we're good.
Leave it open.
Yeah. We need more of a breeze through
Al
this.
fresco.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be dining al fresco. I'll be peeing al fresco.
So the strongest one connected to the memory is your sense of smell. You guys have any good stories
The
for sense of
olfactory
smell?
sense.
Ooh, getting all big and fancy worded over there.
With the pencil factory sense.
So I got one, and it's not flattering.
That's how we like it.
As it should be.
So when you're working in the studio, you tend to do long hours, and especially when you're doing the vocal parts, because you want to hit the right note at the right key and all that. And,
Sure.
and if you're going to layer the vocals and do backgrounds and stuff for yourself, and occasionally you'll bring somebody else in to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, generally in studios they'll put you in an isolation booth. So
Right.
just think of a stand-up, closet, or if you remember something called a pay telephone booth, kind of about that size.
Yeah. Padding all around.
Padding all around. Okay. And
With your arms tied like this.
So
it's just straight.
That's a different vocal booth.
they give you a nice jacket to wear in there.
You're a lead singer now. It's okay. Just stay in here.
So I'm laying down some tracks, and I'd finished my part, and we had brought in a female vocalist to lay in some harmonies, and I'd been in that booth a long time, and I might have released some gaseous form of myself.
Oh, you just had to stew in your own
filth.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
But it wasn't like the long drawn out. It was kind of like that, just that little pop. It's out, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh crap! I'm sure it doesn't smell.
We're good. We're fine.
Right? And but there's a window you can see in there.
Yeah, just a bubble. It's fine. We're good.
And
It fogs up.
Little did you know, it actually made it onto the track, though. So if you pay real close attention to track 3 at like the 50-second mark, you
Right
can hear
in the
it.
silence. That would be amazing. Just like,
The best part is,
So if
in
you
that
come
room,
May 9th and you find out where that is in the track, we'll buy you a beer.
He does it live.
We do it live. It's part of the show.
yeah, the soundproofing material in that room will forever smell like that. You know that, right?
Is this your vocal mic? Not really. It's an alternative mic. It's on a slower stand.
I just realized I made a fart joke.
Yeah.
There you go. How about you, Dan?
You know, I
No, fuck
can't
off.
beat that, but I have a toddler, so basically everything is poop. So
But is it on a track?
no,
The wheels on the bus go.
don't get her started. She's probably going to listen to this.
So this is probably the easiest one for musicians out there because of the craft that you actually participate in. How about the sense of hearing?
I was going to go with sense of direction, but okay.
Sense of direction. Sense of finding a stripper. That's
Gosh, yeah, I don't know, Dan, you got one off the top of your head?
What are we doing?
Where are we?
Hearing.
Who am I?
Sense of hearing?
Yes.
Sense of direction. We got lost coming here. We got lost coming here.
In case you didn't hear what we're saying.
what?
I don't.
Well, I mean, I've got another one back to the studio.
Oh,
So
thank God.
when you walk in, you've got a song you've written, and you got the producer there, and the producer wants to hear the song after you've kind of figured it out, and then you listen to what you've heard.
Oh, yeah.
and you make some changes. Well, there's a song on the album called "Call Me Baby."
Okay.
It was originally, when I wrote it, titled "Call Me Maybe," and I didn't realize this, but apparently there's like a real popular female singer who sings this song called "Call Me Maybe." I had no clue that was out there, and my producer heard it. I mean, as soon as he heard it, he's like, "You can't call it that. You got to change the word."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What are you talking about? It sounds great. Call me maybe." No, you got to change it. So it's now "Call Me Baby."
Well, that's good. I always find that whenever you get
Call
into that,
Carly Rae Jepsen, tell her ass to change her name. Anyway.
No, just sue her and get all the royalties.
am I the only one that like when you get to that point, you've laid down all the things like vocals and stuff, and you're listening back to it, and you always just go, "This is terrible." You never go like, "Nailed it! We are so good." You're always like, "That was passable."
Now I got that stupid song stuck in my head.
My song.
Delete my number and keep the baby.
Okay.
I was hoping he was gonna go, "I've got one for sound." You could hear that fart. Totally hear it.
I would totally get that song stuck in my head forever if I were getting that royalties for that song.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So how about the tactile nonsense that you guys have experienced in real life?
Who have you touched? It's all right.
I was told you could not ask that question.
Right. I have a tip for you.
I'm holding it right now.
It's the audio version of To Catch a Predator.
Yes, it is. Would you like some lemonade? So have you felt something, perhaps underwear being thrown up at you
Oh, right.
on stage? Or,
Scott has, but the woman, was 80, but whatever.
right. Well, that makes the underwear bigger.
Yeah.
Counts.
It sails.
Totally counts.
Counts twice.
You know how much harder it is for her to take it off?
Yeah. That's like 3 times a 21-year-old.
Like, wait, I'm getting it.
Almost 4.
Hold
Yeah.
on. Hold on.
Yeah. I got
so
this. Hold my cane. I
So-
got a present for you.
It's got a racing stripe
Are
in it.
these your-
Anyway, you're gonna tell a story when we shut up, so
Are
we're gonna
these-
shut up.
Are these your panties?
I think it's moved. I mean, touch. It's hard. So playing different clubs and venues, right?
Yeah.
Every place is different. And some places have a bona fide stage. Some places, you're in the kitchen, you're near the kitchen door, and you got to swing when the guy comes out the door, and you got to swing back as you're playing.
Oh yeah.
Been there.
But this one place, and I won't name it.
Please.
And I played it recently. Is you get up there and you get a little introduction. You got a little okay. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Put the guitar on. I'm plugging in, and then you realize it's like that movie theater floor, and it's like your foot's sticking. And
Growlers.
That's growlers. We're out of time. We had one left. You guys will have to come back, and we'll have to do more of this sometime. Thank you so much for coming. Coming up this week, May 9th, again, Scott Thorn and Freedom Road at the Velvet Lounge in Washington, D.C. Shout out to the AWH mob. To join it, like us, follow us, retweet us, and share us on the show Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we will mention you here on the show. Next week, we have Metro Song singer-songwriter Jason Mendelson. It is an awesome story. You got to stick around for that. If you enjoyed the show, email us at contact@anotherwastedhour.com. If you hated the show, send your complaints to a sanctuary city where they'll be safe for now. Thanks to Ken Evinger, Brian McNally 22, Justin Rogers, Big Metal Records, Alchemical Records, and the amazing reincarnation of Engineer Adams for all their contributions. Thanks to Victor.
Don't say anything. Nothing.
Thanks to Scott Thorne. We've wasted a perfect good hour with us. And this has been another wasted hour. And if you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned you.
Adam, put that down. Put it down.
Well, I was thinking back a couple of years when we were kids, full of fear of the unknown. Had to have our way, yeah. I remember that lake and the old rope swing. Days after school, it's amazing we didn't drown. Those were the days. Precious in every way, and if I had the chance, I'd go back and do it all again. Oh, well, the weekends are just my buddies and me, talking about cars, wild and free. Cheer for our side, holding hands, reveling by